about young Adam Wharton potentially going to Manchester United. They want to splash the cash and get Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace. I mean, great idea, because he's a great player, isn't he?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Proving himself for England as well.
Yeah, and there's a strange situation at the moment where you've got Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson, two superb talents, young England players, outside of the big clubs. So there's clearly talent to be had if you're among the big six, as it were. I think for United it makes a lot of sense, because midfield has been, for me, their biggest weakness, really going back even to the end of the Fergie era. They never really replaced the Scholes, Carrick midfield. They've never been able to control games in the middle of the pitch in the way that a big club should be able to do. They've papered over the cracks with different solutions. I think it's been the worst part of Ruben Amorim's football, has just been this absence in midfield. It's partly the formation, but it's partly just not having players that can take the ball and control the game and play a pass. And Adam Wharton's, he stands out among young England players, among English midfielders we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, just because of his almost Spanish-style skills in that regard. So I can see how he would be perfect for them, but I can imagine they won't be the only club looking at him.
No, it'll be interesting. I mean, he missed out, didn't he, in the last camp for England, which perhaps, he was proving a point to Thomas Tuchel in terms of his performances for Crystal Palace just recently. Is that somewhere where you feel that Manchester United, as Jonathan was saying, really need to strengthen? Looking at Liverpool last season, it was almost their midfield, wasn't it, that won them the Premier League? Is that something that they really need to strengthen?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they've been really poor in midfield for quite a while. Also, I think they're especially poor because the system that he wants to play with only two men in the middle, obviously there's a lot of onus on those guys to do a lot of running. And I think compared to basically almost all the other big Premier League teams, they look really poor in there physically. So I think they definitely need more energy, more fresh legs than that. And I think Wharton's an amazing player. I think he's probably the closest England has produced to a kind of Michael Carrick type player in the last 20 years. So I think, and he definitely looks like somebody who could easily make the step up to any team in the country.
Yeah, Charlie, is there something you agree with in terms of the fact that they're talking about Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro could be the ones that go?
I think he'd fit in brilliantly. I mean, it's an interesting one with Wharton, though, because it strikes me that Tuchel doesn't necessarily fancy him.
Why do you think that is?
And I don't know. I mean, he's only played once for England, and when he announced his latest squad, Tuchel said he spoke about the players that he called to say that he's not in the squad. It's interesting that Kyle Walker wasn't one of them. And he named Wharton. So obviously he's in his thoughts, but I still think he would have been in the squad now. Yeah, it's curious. A player that good.
I'd pick that up too, that he's a little bit lukewarm, isn't he? I think he's sort of dabbling in Adam Wharton rather than sort of really going for him. I think it might just be dynamism. I think Tuchel seems to like the Declan Rice profile, of that kind of really, really athletic midfielder. I think another thing with Wharton is the system, isn't it? He obviously plays in a similar system at Palace, and this may be a sign of...
Man United targets £60 million Adam Wharton, £60 million Premier League star top target for Manchester United. Man United eye Adam Wharton in £60 million midfield shakeup. Manchester United have reportedly set their sights on Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton in what could be one of the most surprising transfer moves of 2026. Credit goes to The Mirror, who revealed that club bosses believe a £60 million bid would be enough to test Palace's resolve. Ruben Amorim has kept close tabs on Wharton's progress at Selhurst Park and has become a huge fan of the midfielder, reads the report. The Portuguese coach is understood to be convinced that the 21-year-old has the technical abilities to be a huge success at United. Midfield overhaul incoming. United failed to secure midfield reinforcements last summer, which has left Amorim leaning heavily on Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. That pairing has now come under scrutiny. According to the report, both Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro are expected to leave Old Trafford, with Mainoo lined up for a January loan move to Napoli and Casemiro out of contract next year. Amorim could find himself short a midfielder before the end of the season, the article adds, which explains the urgency behind the Wharton pursuit. Wharton's meteoric rise. Wharton's journey has been remarkable. From breaking through at Blackburn to joining Palace for £18 million in February 2024, his ascent has been relentless. He quickly earned a place for Gareth Southgate's England squad for Euro 2024, then established himself as a key figure for Oliver Glasner as Palace secured FA Cup success and European qualification. Palace have shown a willingness to sell, allowing Eberechi Eze to join Arsenal for £67.5 million last summer, while Michael Olise departed for Bayern Munich the year before. A deal structure could therefore be achievable, especially if Wharton signals interest in Old Trafford. Questions over fit and timing. Spending £60 million on a player still early in his development carries risk, but United were happy to invest £200 million on Benjamin Sesko, Brian Mbeumo, and Matheus Cunha during the previous window. The strategy is clear: sign players before they become unattainable. Word inside United suggests Amorim wants Wharton to be the heartbeat of his next-generation midfield, and the move could accelerate as January approaches. From a Manchester United fan's perspective, this feels like another bold swing rather than a structured rebuild. Adam Wharton is talented, no question. He is calm in possession, positionally intelligent, and already looks like he belongs at the highest level. But is he ready to anchor United's midfield from day one? That is asking a lot of a 21-year-old who has only just settled at Palace. There is also a feeling of déjà vu. United once signed Wilfried Zaha from Palace too early in his career and never figured out how to use him. Wharton is a different profile, more cerebral and mature, but the cautionary tale remains. If Amorim truly wants to build around him, the club must commit fully, not bench him behind established names at the first sign of pressure. The departures of Mainau and Casemiro will sting supporters. Mainau going to Napoli on loan feels like poor asset management, unless there is a clear plan for his return. Casemiro leaving is understandable given age and contract status, but replacing two midfielders with one could be a problem. Still, there is intrigue. If United genuinely see Wharton as their long-term controller, their Rodri or Rice, then £60 million might end up looking like a bargain. Fans will watch this one closely. It could define Amorim's era before it has even properly begun.